Cool. I think we are live. Hi, guys. I am Nikki Wells, a health and holistic lifestyle coach and the founder of the Vibrant and Divine Women interview series. And today I'm here with Deanna Deacon, another holistic health coach. Super excited. So Deanna and I are going to be talking about all things related to self-care and just health and keeping your vibe high and just see what kind of comes up. I think it'll be an interesting conversation with two health coaches together in one interview. So a little bit about me. I am, like I said, a health and holistic lifestyle coach, and my main focus is really working with women who are tired and burnt out and just feeling uninspired, and really helping them to create the life of their dreams. And I really do that through kind of a threefold piece here of looking first and foremost at your nutrition and your cellular health, and like really getting your physical body more dialed in. And then looking at those self-care routines and rituals and personal nourishment, and just making sure that you are making yourself a priority. And then looking at your mindset really, and just like what are those shifts and those reframes so that you start living and thinking in the way that you want to be. So that's kind of my little spiel. I also am a natural foods chef, so there's always healthy cooking pieces mixed in there. So that's me. Deanna, do you want to share a little bit about who you are and what you do and all of that?
Sure. Thank you for that. Thank you for having me here. This is so exciting. And I didn't know that you were a natural food chef. That's so exciting. I'm looking forward to you sharing some of your recipes with me, and I can give them a try. That's
Definitely.
awesome. So yes, I also am a holistic health coach. And I think that the thing I focus the most on with all of my clients is really bringing out their passion and purpose. And I find that a lot of people come to me with some sort of specific ailment where, their digestive system isn't working properly, or they're just always exhausted, or they don't have the right motivation in life. They're not able to move themselves forward. And I really love the ability to take a look at the holistic picture and everything that's going into that factor, and allowing them to see the connection, that it's not just about their physical body. It's not just about what they're putting in their body and what's coming out. It's about their mental state. It's about their emotional state, and whether or not they have any passion or purpose in what they're doing. So really allowing people to understand the whole picture, see the whole big circle, and realize that everything that they're doing every day, their thought process, their physical movement, their just emotional connection with their relationships, all of this is playing a part in their overall health and well-being. So really making sure that they can feel awesome every day. That's my goal.
I love that. And that was one of the things that I think I really connected with you, because we have that similar viewpoint, that really creating and living as the best version of you isn't just, eating good food or exercising. Like, there are all these pieces that come together, and all the different aspects of our life, and how they really do culminate in that, like the big picture of who you are and how you are living. And so I think sometimes as coaches, we see people who come to us, like you said, they just have digestive issues, or they can't lose those last 10 pounds or whatever it is. And that's that's all they've been focusing on. And clearly, it's not working, because maybe they're neglecting the other areas of their life. And so that is, I think, one thing that is so important. And what I really love about health coaching is that clients come to you and they say, I have digestive issues. And so you're like, okay, let's look at your digestive issues. But then all of these other things open up. And then when you do, when you talk with them at the end, it's like, oh my God, excuse me, I forgot to when you look at them at the end, and you talk to them about it, they're like, whoa, I can't believe, the shifts that have happened. Like, I had a client, and she really, just had this kind of like, I want to lose weight or feel healthier. And then in the end, she's like talking about her lifestyle and how she wants to have more financial freedom and what that means for her, so it like goes on this whole other path. And
Totally.
that's one of the things I love most. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting how we're just sort of brought up in at least a society in North America where we don't focus on how everything's interconnected. We don't focus on how just because your body's showing one ailment that it actually could have stemmed from, you know, something that happened months or years ago. And it's just something that you haven't been paying attention to or that you just don't have the awareness of. And so I really truly believe that as health coaches, especially from a holistic standpoint, when we start to bring in that awareness and open up their eyes to see all of it, it empowers the individual. So that next time, if that ailment comes up again, they have a better understanding of where to start looking, as opposed to, I need to go to the doctor and get something to fix this problem. Because chances are, that's not actually the problem, that's just the symptom. And so, yeah, just bringing it all full spectrum, you know?
And that, like right there, what you just said about fixing, like we have this mentality in our Western culture to want to just fix something. Like I want the diet that's going to let me lose weight in 5 days or whatever, you know, and so
and then have it stay that way, so I don't have to continue with it. I want it just to be a quick fix, and then I want to go back to, you know, drinking all the wine, eating all the chocolate, being fine.
Exactly. And so really like helping people to see that it's this, you're creating lifestyle changes, right? You're shifting your lifestyle, or you're creating healthy habits that last. It's not just like, let's work together for 3 months and at the end you can go back to your old life, because that wouldn't be progress, that wouldn't be growth, and we wouldn't be moving forward. So
yeah,
it's one of the most important things.
I think it's really interesting how we do have just such a quick fix culture, and it's wrong. It's not right. It's not sustainable. It's not good for anyone except for the companies that are making a lot of money out of it. But in the end, again, it's just a symptom. It's not actually the problem. And what I think people don't understand as well is how diverse their system is. And just because someone else can eat gluten-free and they lose 10 pounds doesn't mean it's going to happen for you, or vice versa. I mean, some people can live really well as a vegan and other people cannot. They need that animal protein to keep them sustainable. And so I think what people shy away from sometimes is the exploration of their own bodies, because it takes a little bit of time. It could be fun. It doesn't have to be challenging, but it does take a bit of time. But once you get to that place, when you know what your body needs, you know how to nourish it physically and emotionally and mentally and spiritually, life is great. You know, like we should all take the time to get there so we can all just feel awesome every day.
Totally. It's like that, you know, it's like with a garden, right? Like you want to have a vegetable or garden because you want to have fresh veggies to eat every day, but it takes months. And first you have to, you know, do the soil, and then you have to plant everything, and then you have to water it every day, and then there's not enough sun, and then, you know, all of these different things. But then one day you go outside and you have ripe tomatoes, and you're just like, whoa, like how did that happen? You know? So it is that whole thing of just like unfolding and peeling back the layers of who you are, and really learning to listen. For me, I think it's about learning to read the signals that our body's giving us. You know, for example, people who are having trouble digesting and they have digestive issues, like in what ways are they not digesting things in their life? Is there something that they're trying to ignore or brush under the rug? Or are they rushing through life and literally on a physical level, just, you know, eating really quickly and moving really quickly and not allowing themselves the time to reconnect and absorb? So it's just all so much more than the physical body. And that, I think, as health coaches, like that's our main goal, right? Is to help people understand, like, certainly we can help you with your physical health, and that's a very important component. But what else, you know?
Yeah, there's so much more to it. Yeah. And I really love your garden analogy. I think that's really cool. And I just had a thought about that. Actually, one of my girlfriends, Christine, is watching today, and she has a big, beautiful garden. And it took a lot of work in the beginning to get it all ready and prepped and have everything going. And each night she goes out and waters it and takes care of it. But the coolest thing is that now she has so many fresh vegetables that it really brings her closer to her community. Because every time I go over, she goes, oh, do you want to take some stuff from the garden here? Take a bag of all this lettuce and cake. And I think that also is a beautiful metaphor for how you are in your body. When you nourish yourself and when you take care of your body and your lifestyle and your emotional health, you have more energy and ability to give to others. And you can be open to support other people in your life. And I think that there's been a shift away from this, but some people still believe that taking care of themselves is selfish. And I work very strongly to help people shift that mindset, because it's not true. Because if you can take care of yourself and feel great, you're going to have more energy to then support more people in your life, in your community, in your family, in your country, whatever scale you're working on. And you just get to help lift up that vibration of the entire world. And I'm pretty sure that's not selfish.
Oh my God, you like speaking to me. I love that. Exactly. It's not selfish. And we think, especially for women, like we think that we do everything for everybody else. And there's not this piece of, you come last, right? My family comes first, my job comes first, whatever. And we don't take care of ourselves. And really, then you end up being burnt out and frazzled, and you can't show up and be that, really that vibrant version of you. So it is so not selfish to take that time and to cultivate yourself, and so that you really do have that energy. And also when you take that time for yourself and you do the work and you energize, fuel your body, take time for yourself, nourishment, all of that, not only are you able to show up more fully for the people in your life, for your community, your family, whatever scale you're looking at, but you're also then an inspiration for the people around you, so
vibing high, bring it up.
Exactly.
Let everyone raise up to where you are.
Exactly. And it's a really cool process to see when someone does the work and then naturally the people around them start to be elevated. I think that's what it's about, right?
Yeah, one of my clients has been experiencing that recently, and he's such a cool individual. And he was just mentioning, some different people have been coming to him and telling him stories of specific things that they're doing that he doesn't think that he's connected to in any way, but it's them being healthier for themselves. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's a testament to him being that inspiration to them. They just feel compelled to share their successes with him, even though he didn't actually have anything to do with physically with them making the change, but mm-hmm. He inspired them. And I was like, do you understand the role that you're in right now? That's amazing. You're now a leader, and you're doing it because you have decided that it's worth doing it for yourself. And isn't that cool that you now get to raise up your community? I think it's awesome.
I think it's amazing. Absolutely. I did a presentation yesterday, actually, at a local Rotary Club organization here where I live. And, it's a lot of older people, 50 and over, but there's a few young guys. And one of the guys actually went to high school with him. But anyway, the presentation I was doing was on kind of detoxing your life from sugar. And so it was this kind of presentation on sugar. And he actually spoke up and he was like, yeah, he told his story about how he used to be really addicted to sugar and how he changed his diet. And I think that having him stepping up in that way, and it's not just me there presenting, it's like someone they know who's in their club and in their community, like standing up and saying, listen, like this is real stuff and this is my experience and what happened with me. And then the people are like, oh wow, really, Corey? That's so interesting. And so it's cool.
Totally. Well, it's also like the same idea as I live in a small town, and we have had some people talking about Broga because we have a male yoga instructor who is awesome, an awesome individual. And he really wants to just get more guys moving and flowing and trying out yoga. And I think that that's what it takes is just getting people comfortable with the idea that they can do something different and they're not going to be judged for it, or it's a safe place, whatever it is, whether they're exploring their own health or they're stretching their body, or it's just a community social thing and you actually get to stand up and talk about yourself. I think that unfortunately for men, there's a lot less focus on even just this kind of thing. It's less likely that a man is going to sit and watch this video than a woman on average scale. And I think that we're shifting that. It's time to shift that because we're all in this together. Let's all support each other and let's raise each other up together. And we need that masculine energy just as much as we need the feminine. So it's really nice to have a balance.
Totally. And, actually, I didn't know that you work with men and women. And I am curious about that because it's true. We do have that masculine and that and feminine energy, that yin and that yang. And why do we need to keep this kind of juicy, awesome, like self-growth stuff to just women? Like men, they're expected to be, stoic and have no problems. But just like women, they also have that feminine energy that needs to be cultivated and cared for. And they are also equally deserving of self-awareness and personal growth and transformation. So I think that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to say anything about working with, like having that balance of working with men and women in your practice?
Well, let's see. I think working with men is really cool. And I've spent most of my life in all my different jobs and things prior to becoming a health coach, generally working more with women than with men. But I find they bring such a cool view to things. They have, I don't even know how to describe it. They just have a way of looking at things in almost a more simplistic way, in a beautiful way. They can break it down really easily, and they digest things. Yeah, I don't really know how to describe it. It's totally different. And I really love it. And I love working with men as much as I love working with women. And I just love to see them transform and to see them willing to put in the energy and put in the time and be completely open to what I have to say to them. Because quite often, everyone that I work with, I only work with them if I feel an intuitive connection. And so I just blurt out whatever comes to me because I know that it's coming from them. Yeah. And I really respect the fact that they don't get defensive in it. Well, at least the men that I've worked with, they don't go on the defensive. They simply take it in. They kind of often sit back, digest it, and then come back with something really beautiful to say about it. So I don't know. It's been awesome. I really love it.
Cool. I love it. So another thing that I'm thinking too, like in this process of and working with men and with women, that is really awesome, and that you get to have that experience of both kind of clients. And so do you find that when you work with men and women, like there's a need for different experiences from you? Like, are men also interested in that self-care piece and that kind of like diving deeper, or, do you find anything like that?
The men that I've worked with definitely are interested in the self-care and diving deeper, 100%. And to be honest, thinking back, I think I give a little bit more of like tough love to some of my female clients than my male clients.
Huh.
Yeah, interesting, hey?
Yeah, and maybe it makes sense though.
Sorry?
I think it makes sense that you would like
got to balance it out.
Yeah, right? Like you are also then representing and providing that yin and that yang for your clients, which is such a cool experience. So I'm kind of intrigued by this working with men thing too.
Yeah, it's really nice. I really enjoy it. And it also just helps to balance me as an individual as well. And I'm just so intrigued by individuals. And I'm super intrigued when I can tell that someone is stuck in something or they're stuck in their head about something and they can't get past it. All I want to do is sit there and talk to them and ask them questions and just take them over here and then take them over there and try and bring it all together so that I can showcase to them, this is what's stemming from you. And yeah, I guess every time I talk to someone, gender regardless, I just look so much at their identity and who they are and their soul, basically. My program is called the soul purpose, because I really want their soul to come out and speak to me so that I can speak to them in a language that they can understand. And it's a beautiful work. I love what I do.
Super blessed. I have a question for you. So in my experience as a health coach, it is really this process, like the work that I do with clients, I also have to do that work on myself. And it's a continual journey that I haven't just arrived and I'm like my healthiest, best self. It's this process, and continually I'm constantly expanding. And so therefore the journey just continues along with me. And one thing that I found is so important along the way is that I maintain and focus on my own personal nourishment and my own self-care practices, because especially as an entrepreneur, it's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day to-do list and working with this person and doing that thing and all of that. And so it is such a priority for myself and then for my clients to take that time for those rituals doing my meditation and doing my yoga movement, all of those things, if I don't do them, then I can't show up for my clients. And so I do wonder if you have any non-negotiables in your life, rituals, routines that you always make a priority so that you can show up so beautifully for your clients.
Yeah, definitely. I find sometimes I find myself a little bit unique in that I have kind of this plethora of non-negotiables that rotate. So I've always been the type, like I've moved tons of times, different cities, different houses. I have done lots of different jobs. I'm just constantly changing, evolving, and looking for something different. So I find that I have this plethora of things that I love to do for my body and for my mental well-being. And then I cycle through them. So I'll go maybe 2 weeks of every single morning I'll wake up and I'll do 20 minutes of yoga and then a 10-minute meditation. And then after the 2 weeks, maybe I'll wake up and feel like I need to go for a walk. And so for maybe a week, I'll go for a walk every morning. And I just cycle through depending on how my body is feeling and what's going on in my life. And I find I never used to give myself that ability to ask, what do you need? What's going on? What's going to support you? And that right there is like my number one non-negotiable, that whatever the outcome is, I always take the time to ask. And so like even something as simple as I used to take tons of vitamins and minerals. And like every morning I pop as many pills as I could because I thought this is health, right? I'm going to fill my body with as much health as possible and I'm going to feel great. And it wasn't what my body needed. I was just putting so much into it and I didn't need all of that at that time. So now I lay them all out on the counter and in the morning I ask myself, what do I need to support myself today? What's going to lift me up? What's going to make me feel good? And then I'll go maybe have a little vitamin D, maybe I'll have a multivitamin, maybe I'll have some spirulina, whatever it might be. Mm-hmm. But I have the option and the choice. And I think that simple moment empowers me and puts me in that beautiful, confident place so that I can show up for my clients, I can show up for my family, I can show up for my friends, and I can be the best person that I can be because I've taken that moment for myself.
I thank you. I love that perspective. Something that came up for me just then was thinking about the rituals in the morning and how sometimes they can feel very rigid. Like I have to wake up and I have to, make my tea, and then I go to sit down for meditation for 15 minutes, and then I have to journal, and then I have to do my, personal growth reading, and I have to do this and I have to do that. And then if you don't do all those things, then you feel bad and you feel guilty. Like, oh, I didn't do my full morning ritual this morning, or, I only meditated for 5 minutes. How could I have done that, And then you get into that whole story in your head and beating yourself up exactly of that, like, oh, Nikki, you're so bad. You didn't do your thing today. And so I love, and I have much appreciation and gratitude for what you just shared about that. It's more empowering to actually just wake up and say, hey, Nikki, what do you need today? Like, what are you feeling? Oh, you're not feeling a walk? Like a slow flow yoga feels good to you? Like, great, let's do that. And I think that is an incredible perspective to have. And so many people, because we do get stuck in this thing of like, we need to do our routines, and my workout every day is this, and this is what I eat every day. And rather than become so rigid, it's about being more fluid with life, right? And asking yourself, what do you need today? And giving yourself permission to say, hey, maybe today I do need something different from what I needed yesterday. Maybe I'm not feeling whatever I had planned I was going to eat, and I actually just want to have soup and be super like chill and by myself, or, I don't want to go to that party now because I'm not feeling quite in that mood, So I think that's a huge piece, is really giving ourselves that permission. And I love that. I really do.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful transition from what the average society tells you to do. And I love that you said fluid, because fluidity is kind of my word. It's my thing. And my core desired feelings from desire mapping, fluidity is one of them. And I just find, like, even myself, I grew up in a very corporate type mindset, in that you push and you push and you push until you can't push, and then you push harder. And even with my fitness, I remember as a teenager, a good friend of mine, Kate, always wanted me to go to yoga with her. And so yoga's stupid. It's so slow. I don't get a workout. Like, I want to go lift weights and go for a run.
Mhm.
And that was very much my mentality. And I'm so grateful that I've softened and shifted, because sometimes I do want to go for a run and lift weights. And other times I want to do yoga, but I am going to get a great workout out of it. And other times all I want to do is stretch. And I think we don't give ourselves enough credit for what is actually going on hormonally in our bodies every single day. You know, and I read this really beautiful book by Alyssa Vitti. It's called Woman Code. And it's an amazing book all about how you can start to understand your own hormones and how you can start to regulate them with food. But the coolest thing that she said was she actually schedules her work and her meetings and her exercise and everything based around her hormone cycle. Because she knows that if she goes into a big, huge meeting where she has to make a really big decision about her business and how she's going to move it forward, if she's not hormonally in the right place, she's not going to be fully present. She's going to be too emotional. You know, she's not going to be there ready to make that move. And I think that the rigidness that the average person feels they're supposed to live with disconnects you from your body. So when your body's talking to you, when it's trying to say, I need rest, I need sleep, I need peace, I need communication, whatever it is, if you don't hear your body, it doesn't just shut up. It finds another way to speak louder to you. And so when people don't understand, when they constantly fall ill really, really badly, or they always seem to break their ankle or sprain their ankle or something so that they can't do their physical activity anymore, this is actually different situations where your body is speaking to you and trying to say, hey, relax, it's okay. I got you, but you need to listen to me. And so, yeah, again, with the rigidity, I just find there's no connection, there's no communication. And so that's why I think that us as health coaches, that's where we come in. And we start to offer a different viewpoint and start to show, well, maybe it doesn't have to be that way. Well, maybe we could shift just 2 things, see how that feels. If that feels great, maybe we shift a couple more and just allow it to be a gentle process to connecting to your body. Because let's face it, we are animals, and animals are able to survive. They do so well, but they connect to their body. They have their instincts, and we've lost that. So all we need is to open that communication, and it'll come right back.
Totally. I love, and I really connect with that. Especially the Women's Code. I haven't read that book yet, but it's on my list, because that is an incredible tool. Like, how much power would we have if we really were tuned in and we knew where we were in our cycles? And I track my cycle, but I don't know, and I'm getting better with it, like knowing where I am and what I need at that time. But it is, to have that clarity. And I've certainly had the experience of having like a really high intensity. I was catering for a while in personal chefing. And I remember a couple of days when I had a cook day, and where I was in my cycle, and I was like crying and so overwhelmed. And just the fact that I had to make like 5 meals was like, I couldn't deal with it. And it's happened a couple of times. And so really it's that having that power as a woman to say, hey, I can't do this at this time. This isn't going to work out for me. This is when I can schedule it, is huge. That's amazing. And to be able to be connected into our bodies, into the rhythms and the cycles, and to be able to read the signs, right? Because we really are so disconnected from that. I used to, when I was teaching a couple of years ago, I was incredibly stressed out at that time, and also in a really toxic relationship. And I knew, but I wasn't doing anything about it. And I wasn't, I wasn't taking care of myself really at all. And I developed this rash on my body, on my entire body. And it was with me for 2 years. I had this rash, and it would, wake me up in the middle of the night, and I'd be covered in, welts. And in the middle of teaching my students, it would flare up and my whole back would be, welted up. And this happened for 2 years. And intuitively, I knew I was stressed. I knew I was in a toxic relationship that was not helping me. But I was like ignoring the literal red flag that my body was giving me about the need to change the situation. So really, like, and of course, as soon as I acknowledged that I needed to take myself out of those situations, you know, the rash started to go away. And I later saw that it came out at another stressful time in my life. And it was like, duh, of course it was, you know, the stress and the situation. But anyway, the point of the story is that we really, you know, your body does tell you always like, hey, I need this, or this is what I need, but we just have to listen. And that, I think, is probably one of the biggest gifts that we can give clients, is that helping them to see that they can, that they really are powerful, and that they have the ability to know exactly what their body needs at any given time. It's just a matter of learning to read the signs and learning to listen.
Mm-hmm. And I think that I totally agree. And I think that it's completely natural to listen to your body and to be able to communicate with your body. We've just lost it over time. Mm-hmm. So all we need to do is bring it back, and then it empowers us. And so I just realized that I don't know if you can see the chat box or not, but my friend Kate has been with us live. So I just wanted to read out. She had a question that she said.
For sure, please.
She said, do you have any advice for those who have rigid job schedules? How can we listen to our body and needs when we have to be at work or school at certain times? Thoughts on that?
Yeah, rigid job. And this was something that kind of came up the other day as well. And so I think that when people have those rigid schedules, it's about knowing, for one, that you, like, you know, you are in control of your time. And in this culture, one thing that comes up for me is how much time we spend on social media or something like that. So when you have a rigid schedule and you are at work from 9 to 5, looking at your time. So maybe you have a lunch break that you get. I mean, you should have a lunch break. That'd be probably illegal if you didn't. But anyway, so like, for example, taking your lunch break and not staying at your desk and like continuing to do your work thing, but taking yourself out of that situation and maybe going outside, sitting outside and getting fresh air and doing, you know, some breathing, for example. That's a way to kind of reset your body, or using a little bit of your lunch break to do some of your journaling and thinking about, you know, what you want in your life, or taking a 10-minute walk around the block so that you feel energized and reconnected to go into the rest of your day. And then again, like, you have the choice and you can decide. So when you are at home and you aren't at work, what are you choosing to do with your time? Are you choosing to come home and binge watch Netflix because you just feel like that's what you want to do? Or do you come home from work and say, you know what, I know that I would feel so much more in alignment and connected to myself if I took 10 minutes to do a yoga practice, or if I took a 20-minute bath to relax instead of just coming home and watching Netflix, you know, or all the time when we're on our cell phone, you know, going through Instagram or whatever, like, what could you be doing instead? Can you make a choice that is more supportive of your growth and your, you know, the journey and the path that you want to be on?
Totally. And one thing that I'd like to add to that to support that even more is, I know that I've had some clients where they come home at the end of the day, they know they should go to the gym, go for a run, clean the house, whatever it is that they feel they should be doing, but they're exhausted and their day took everything out of them and they don't have the capacity to bring in anything more. So even for them at that time, like you're saying, like binge watching Netflix seems to be the only thing that's going to make it better. Okay. One thing that I find can be a gentle shift in that is really ensuring that nutritionally your energy levels are sustained. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times people in the afternoon, they don't eat very much because they think, oh, I'll be home soon, it'll be dinner time, that's fine. And so their energy starts to dip down. But if you can sustain yourself, if you can experiment with your diet and try and find ways to keep your energy, so at the end of the day, you can give yourself a little bit of that lift, so that maybe you come home and you say, okay, I'm going to go for a walk, and then do something that's going to lift you up even more. So nutritionally, you feel supported to do so, and then your body also can just make it happen. I think that that can be a nice way to play around with some new experiences, and really just try to make sure that you feel okay to do the things that you want to be doing. And the other part too, I think, is instead of beating yourself up for not doing all the things, you know, like instead of making a list, even like you were saying with the rigidity of your morning routine, let's say, so Kate's saying she's a teacher. So maybe at the end of the day, she has 10 different things that she wants to get done. Well, maybe that's too much for you right now because you're not quite at that place. So maybe you need to choose 3 things. And out of those 3 things, you're going to make sure you do them well. And you're going to make sure that you're ready for that. And you have what you need. You're supported to do so. So that when you're done those 3 things, you feel good. And you feel empowered and you feel great, as opposed to I've only done 4 out of my 10 things and now I feel like crap and I'm useless. This is stupid. I need to watch something mind-numbing on Netflix just to get me out of it.
Totally, totally. And it is that choice of like giving, and that gentleness and giving yourself permission to say, okay, like everything is still going to be there. So you don't have to do it all in this moment today. You know, your house isn't going to explode if you don't come home and wash all your laundry right now, you know? So, you know, so I think that is a great piece of advice, is to really like pick a few things. You don't have to do everything. And what are, you know, the 3 like highly leveraged tasks, or highly, you know, you can call them whatever you want, but the 3 things that you can do each day that you would feel excited and proud of yourself for accomplishing, even if they are just small things. Like today, I really do want to get my laundry done and I want to, you know, sweep my kitchen floor, like whatever it is, but, you know, just giving yourself permission to say, I'm going to do those things and that's enough. Because we're always saying, you know, it's not enough. We're never enough. The situation's never enough. I don't have enough. And when you make that conscious choice and you say, it is enough and I am enough and it's all good, you know, that's a huge shift that you can make that really supports. And I think Kate, your friend Kate, hi Kate, who's a teacher, you know, I used to teach as well. And I totally feel you. It's like you're there, you're in your classroom, but the kids still come into your classroom because they're looking for their jacket or whatever. And it's like, you don't ever feel like you have that moment to yourself. And I think there, again, like, at the school I worked at, I was allowed to go off campus. So what if I just walk down the block for 5, even if I only take 7 minutes of my 30-minute lunch break just to go to remove myself from the situation that I've been in all day, I think it really is a way to reset. And then also just kind of in total agreement with you, Deanna, on the importance of having your energy and your nutrition kind of really, really dialed in so that you are sustained throughout the day. Because so often we dip down in the afternoon, like you said, and then it's done. You just are so tired at that point. You come home and then you don't even want to make dinner for yourself because you're tired and you're just like, well, I'll just get some takeout and then I'll, you know, watch this Netflix and eat my takeout and watch Netflix, you know, because that seems like it feels better. But how often do we have the experience of when we choose something else? You know, it's like working out, right? Like when you're starting a new workout routine and you have to get up at like 6 a.m. to go run because that's when you can go before work, and you're dragging yourself out of bed and it feels better to stay in bed. But then when you do actually go and do the run, you feel so alive and so energized, and you like the thought of staying in bed doesn't even matter to you anymore, you know? So I think it starts with making that shift or making that, you know, decision that I'm going to gently allow myself to have these new experiences. So.
Totally. I agree. So my wonderful father is actually watching this as well, and he commented, and this is something that he has always taught me. And when I call him and Dad, I'm stressed out, I have so much to do, and I have to get this done for my clients or whatever, he's always a really beautiful support for bringing me back down to earth and grounding me. So thank you, Papa. But what he said is, how about setting small goals each day and then having the satisfaction of completing them? Then you can relax and listen to your body. And that's exactly what we're talking about, is just just making sure that you can actually feel satisfied in your day, so that every night when you go to bed, regardless if you were, doing something to help save the world or free a country, or if you took time to play with your puppy dog, or if you smiled at someone while you're walking down the street, that is something that can make you feel, I have had a successful and productive day, and I'm an important part of this community and this planet. And that is of service. That is you living your potential. And I love that. I think it's so important.
I love that. There's a journal called the Gratitude Journal, or the 5-minute journal. And it's literally just 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes in the evening starting your day with how you want your day to be, you know, a couple of affirmations, and ending your day with what went well, what you are grateful for. And just that practice of alone is so empowering, because the smallest little thing, like just smiling at someone or telling the cashier that you appreciate them being there today, you know, that kind of thing, like really does have a massive impact on our health and on our happiness. And I think it's a really powerful practice. So your papa is a very smart man.
He is a very smart man, very kind man as well.
This has been an amazing conversation. I think that we've really like just talked about those pieces that are so important, and what really, what it means, you know, what we do. This has actually kind of been an interesting conversation about how health coaching is so much more than just, this is what you should be eating and you should exercise 3 times a day. You know, we can do that too, but really just looking at all of the other pieces in life and learning to be gentle with yourself, and to be, you know, willing to allow the process to unfold in the slow way that it does. And that it's not this A to B thing. It's this cycle, this circle that we go through, and we grow and expand, and the journey continues with us.
Totally. So I have a question for you, and I'll ask myself the same one. But because I find with health and wellness, there's like thousands and thousands of books, thousands of blogs, websites, videos, all these different things of people saying what you can do for yourself, how you can be healthier, how you can be well, everything. Even in this call, we've just talked about so many different things that people can start to do. So what do you think is one thing that for everyone watching, you would love them to walk away with? Or just one piece of advice, or one thing that they could start to try or shift their mindset around that you think would help move them forward? It's hard, right?
There's so many different things. And I think the big thing for me, and that I share a lot with my clients, is self-compassion, and really learning to be self-compassionate, because it extends to all areas of our life. So if you have weight loss goals that you're trying to meet, if you're not compassionate with yourself, and you're just constantly saying, oh, I didn't lose any pounds today, or, you know, and beating yourself up about it, your body reads that as something bad, and it creates stress, and it holds on to that. So really being loving and self-compassionate with yourself as you start this journey, whatever your journey is, whatever your goal is, your end goal, really allowing yourself to be compassionate, and just say, like, this is an unfolding, and I'm not going to magically tomorrow lose 10 pounds. You know, it has to be this process. And the more loving we are with ourselves, I think the more we open up and we invite in what it is that we're asking for. So of all the things that we could talk about, I really think learning that self-compassion piece is so huge for your growth, and for your ability to live as a healthy and happy and vibrant person. It starts with loving yourself and creating self-compassion. So just be kind and gentle.
Completely. I 100% agree with that. I think it's definitely something that's missing in today's society. You know, we're so often willing to do things for other people, or do things for other people, even if we're not willing. And yet when it comes to ourselves, it's a bit on the back burner. And I think out of everything that we talked about, what I would like to maybe put forward or suggest to everybody, which goes really beautifully with what you said, is to stop. Just stop trying to do all the things. Stop trying to be the person. Just stop. Take the pressure off. Relax. Close your eyes. Breathe. Ask yourself, how can I show myself more compassion? Ask yourself, what do I need? What's going to lift me up? What's going to fulfill me right now? Or what's missing? And just by stopping, even for like you were saying, like on a lunch break, if you just go for 5 minutes or 7 minutes for a walk, let's say you walk for 2 minutes, you find somewhere, you sit down, you have 2 minutes of quiet, and then you come back. Just taking that time to stop and check in, relax, decide that your to-do list doesn't matter, your timeline doesn't matter. You don't have to get things done by a certain day. Like you said, your house isn't going to explode if you don't get those things done later. Just be with yourself. Because when it comes down to it, all you have in this world is yourself. So be comfortable with that, and have that communication and conversation, and show compassion, and just be you.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. This has been absolutely fabulous. I have so loved it. It's been so great to talk to you. And just, I think these are the types of conversations that people need to be involved in more often. This is where there's space to grow. There's flexibility, there's fluidity, and there's compassion to each other as well, and respect of who we are as human beings and the journey that we're on. So thank you for putting together this interview series. I think it's fabulous, and I'm so looking forward to watching the rest of the interviews you have coming up.
Thank you so much, Deanna. I really appreciate that, and so much gratitude and love to you for taking some time. I feel super blessed to have gotten the opportunity to connect with you, and I hope that the journey continues, and we can, join together and do this work. And I think these conversations, and my intention is really just to get people talking and get people excited about what it is that we're doing in the world, and the possibility for people to understand and realize the possibility that exists for them. So I really thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me, and we will definitely be talking soon.
Beautiful. Thanks, Vicky.
Bye. Love you guys. Be well.
Yeah, thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you. Ciao.